So you've got Read, JobServe, LinkedIn. Yes, I said LinkedIn. Do not sleep on LinkedIn. It's not just for getting status updates and daily news snippets, okay? You can actually apply to jobs on LinkedIn, and I personally have been successful in getting a job via LinkedIn. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So it does feel kind of strange that I haven't been sat here doing a video in a couple of weeks now, because my last two videos have been vlogs. And just before I move on into this week's topic, I just want to say a big thank you for all the love and support that you've shown on those last two videos. I tend to feel like my vlogs don't do very well, but actually I've been very surprised by the results and your response to those videos, so thank you very much. So back onto the topic of what this week's video is about. I'm going to be talking to you guys about another type of hunt, and this week's hunt is about job hunting. I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to find a job. Now, this is a topic that I never thought I would cover on my channel, just because I've not really seen myself going that way, but funnily enough, it's been a request from one of my subscribers, so I thought, hey, why not? If that's something that you want to see, then why not deliver it? Okay, so job hunting. You may be job hunting for a number of different reasons. Maybe because you're tired of your current work and what you're doing. It may be because you want a salary increase so that you can afford nicer things, be able to save better, put money towards investments, various reasons. And whatever the reason may be that you want to find a job, I'm going to be talking to you guys about exactly how to do that and get the best results. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like finding a job is the easiest thing to do. It's definitely not, and it requires work. But what I can guarantee you is the fact that if you do really buckle down and follow the steps I'm going to talk to you guys about, you will see the fruits of your labor and get something good in the end. Right, so the steps and principles that I'm going to talk to you guys through are essentially the things that I've done in my job search, which I have found very successful for myself. I'll take an example of when there was a period when I was out of work for like a month and a half, and I was steadily looking for jobs, and I'd had a couple of interviews, but nothing was successful, and I was getting quite down about it. But in the end, when I finally did get a job, it ended up being one of the best contracts that I've had in my contracting career. So that's just a bit of a story to give you a boost for those times when it feels like maybe your job searching efforts are not producing any fruit and you're not getting anywhere. So I just wanted to take a moment to elaborate on the fact that although 2 months may not seem like a long time for some people, it was definitely a long time for me. Coming from a place whereby I'd been actively working as a full-time employee since graduating, and then now having to be sat at home for 2 months, not knowing what I'm going to do when my next job will come. It was hard for me. Okay, so that's enough waffle. Let's get into this week's video. Right, so 5 principles to finding a job. The first thing that you want to do, you want to look for a job as if that is your job. That means you've got to go hard, okay? It's not just submitting one application every week or, 2 applications every couple of weeks. No, I'm talking about doing this thing steadily every day. So if possible, try and apply to a minimum of 5 jobs a day. Now, in this day and age, that's a very easy target to achieve, and that's just because it's one of the days where you need to create a long covering letter to apply to a job. It's all easy now and all done with one click. All you've got to do is submit your CV essentially. So you can submit your CV easily to 10, maybe even 20 different jobs each day. If you continue to do that steadily over a period of time, without a doubt, you're going to get a job, all right? You can't afford to be lazy, okay? You just have to keep at it. Just think about it this way. For every one job opening that you see out there, there's potentially 100 or 200 people that have applied to that same job. So what's the likelihood that you're going to get it? That is why you need to actively increase your chances of getting a job by applying to a whole lot more and not putting all your eggs into one basket. My second principle is to follow up, okay? It's not enough to just apply for a role online. Think about it. The recruiter's going to get hundreds of applications. How do you know that they're even going to see your application amongst that pile? That is why you need to follow up and call them to speak to them about your application. But what I tend to do is that when I apply for jobs, what I'll do is I'll try and get a contact number. Sometimes it's left on the application, other times it's not. Where the number's not left in the application, I'll do a search of the company that is posting up the job, and then call the office number and see if I can speak to somebody about that role in particular. One way or another, you'll be able to get to the person who's posted the role and be able to speak to them about your application. Let them know that you've just applied for it, you've sent your CV over, and speak to them a bit more about the role. Try and gauge what it's about. Try and basically sell yourself for that role. That automatically boosts your chances of getting that job because you've applied online and basically jumps the queue, whereby they're not going to have to go through hundreds of CVs before they see yours. Yours is at the forefront of their eyes because you've called them and you're having conversations with them about this role. And worst case scenario, even if they come back and say, oh, do you know what, I don't think you're a good fit at this time, either way, you've created a relationship with this recruiter or hiring manager. So that is, when potential other roles come up in future, they may call you. They may call you because you've had a good, pleasant conversation with them on the phone. Okay, see how it works? You're still increasing your chances of getting a job in the end. So principle number 3 is to use various job boards and also set up job alerts, okay? So when looking for jobs nowadays, I personally use Google as my starting point, simply because Google is the biggest search engine. So if you're looking for a particular type of role, just type that into Google and see everything that comes up and start from there. In terms of particular sites that I use JobServe, I use Reed, I also use something called, I think, Zoic. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but yeah, those are the main boards that I use for applying to work. I also tend to use LinkedIn. I know a lot of people are sleeping on LinkedIn, but it's actually pretty good. I've managed to get quite a few interviews via LinkedIn, so do not sleep on it, okay? Definitely spread your wings, apply to roles on various different platforms, different boards, and that will again increase your chances of getting a job. Job alerts. Most of the times these can be done automatically for you. So once you've applied to a couple of jobs on a particular job board, so for example, Reed or Total Jobs, they may ask you if you want to set up job alerts, or you can just go and do it by yourself. And that means that when jobs come out that match your criteria or the type of role that you're looking for, you'll get automatically alerts so that you can go on and apply to those jobs. Again, boosting your chances of getting a job. Number 4, use all your networks, okay? Network with people. I mentioned previously the idea of following up your applications by calling the recruiter, have discussions and see how suitable you may be for the role and potentially lead on to getting an interview. But when I say use your networks, I'm coming back to this whole idea of somewhere like LinkedIn, for example. LinkedIn is not just social media. Don't just use it to go and see, you know, status updates and basically get, you know, little daily snippets of the news and things like that, okay? There's hundreds, thousands of jobs on LinkedIn. Various different organizations are on there, so utilize it. Why not? Once again, a lot of these jobs can be applied to in just one click. It's just submitting your CV or your LinkedIn profile, and from there recruiters may be able to contact you. Another thing that I found is that by the time you've applied to a couple of jobs on LinkedIn, a lot of recruiters will see that you're actively looking, and from there they'll contact you. You don't even need to apply to roles sometimes. They'll just be sending you messages into your inbox, and before you know it, you're getting interviews left, right and center. So definitely use your social media properly, your connections. LinkedIn, do not sleep on LinkedIn. I've got quite a few interviews from LinkedIn and even gotten a job myself via LinkedIn, so it definitely does work. 5th principle, do not give up, okay? All the things that I've mentioned, you don't just do them once, twice, you repeat it. It's an ongoing thing until you finally land that job that you want, okay? It's not an easy thing, but I promise you, if you put in all these principles that I've spoken to you about in this video, you are bound to get something, and you will get something good. Nothing worth having comes easy at the end of the day. Okay, so guys, that brings me to the end of this week's video. I do hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. Please do let me know if this is the kind of thing that you do enjoy. If you'd like me to talk a bit more about, you know, job hunting and finding work and, you know, the more corporate professional side of things, please do let me know. If you have enjoyed this video, please do give it a big thumbs up. And as always, thanks again, and I will catch you next week. Bye.